Audible now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm just sharing, just trying to tell you that there are lots and lots of universities across the world which are dealing with data journalism in many ways. I've shared a link on your chat box, so some of you might try that out. Does that link work?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It does, right? I'll just share it for others who cannot see that. Let me share it to you. So there are all these universities which have this data journalism course, and they are doing it in different ways. In certain places, it's a one semester course. In certain places, it's an entire course in data journalism. And in other places, they have certain modules and so on and so forth. Can you see this particular part on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we are going to talk today. And this is, as you can see, this is from one of those universities. This is from National University of Ireland, Galway, and this is what they want to do. Just trying to suggest that, we are doing something which the entire world is doing. What data journalism is and where it comes from, why is it important, how to find stories in data, where and how to find data, investigative journalism using data, cleaning data and making sense of messy data, visualizing it, and maybe newsroom math and statistics. And we're going to talk most of these things today with you, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. I will share another thing with you right up front, although this will be there again and again, and I'll talk to you later on. Can you see this part on the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
that is from my website, and I have created a lot of links. And the first there is about just one of you might just confirm whether this link works.
Yes, Yes, sir. sir. It's working.
It's working, right? Wonderful. So basically, we have the entire thing. I've created this entire thing for you. That is the Data Journalism Handbook. So it has lots and lots of resources there. The curriculum I just showed you. There's something on mobile journalism. There is on data stories, and there are many, many other things. So these are all clickable links that I've created for data journalism students because there is a lack of resources. I also recently wrote a book chapter as well. If required, I'll share that with you too. I mean, that is in a book on reporting that has been published by Sage from Delhi. So this is about trying to impress upon you why is data important. So I'm sure most of you realize that the data is important. Am I clear about that? Do you want to add to that? Do you agree data is important or it's not important in journalism? Anyone? If you want, you can speak in Bengali as well. Do you think data is important for journalism?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
why do you think so? Why do you think data is important for journalism? I mean, you're very right about the fact that data is necessary, and you are also clear in saying that we should learn about it. But why do you think data is important, or do you read data stories when you? Is there any data story that you can remember? Nobody.
স্যার অ্যাকচুয়ালি যদি মানে এটাকে এভাবে ধরা যায়,
Uh-huh.
কারণ যদি এভাবে বলাও যায় যে ডেটাটা কেন ইম্পর্টেন্ট, কারণ সমস্ত কিছু যা নিউজ শুধুমাত্র জার্নালিজমের ক্ষেত্রে তো ডেটা ছাড়া কোনো কিছু সম্ভবই না। ইভেন শুধু জার্নালিজম কেন, কোনো ক্ষেত্রেই কিছুই এখন বর্তমানে দাঁড়িয়ে ইনফরমেশন ডেটা এগুলো ছাড়া কোনোভাবেই কিছু সম্ভব না। তো সেক্ষেত্রে তো ওটাই একটা মেন ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস না।
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Anyone else? I agree with you, Anisha. Thank you so much. Anyone else? আর কেউ কিছু বলবে? Anyone? Nobody? কারণ এই প্রশ্নগুলো খুব important, and these observations are very important as well. So that's why I keep on asking you. Anisha says that without data we cannot emphasize a lot of things. So প্রথমে what I'll do is I'll just have a very small presentation, and then I will have some demonstrations, and then we will continue the conversation. But I want you to join in the conversation. Once again thank Anisha and others who have responded. Do you agree with the fact that you all remaining silent and I do the talking is not enough? You agree?
No, sir. No, sir. Agree.
Okay, wonderful. Arkyo?
Yes, sir. Agree with what
হ্যাঁ
she
স্যার,
said.
আমারও সেটাই মনে হয়, মানে আলাদা টাইপের স্টোরি খুঁজতে গেলে তো ডেটাটা লাগবে।
Wonderful, wonderful. সুতরাং চলো আমরা একটু ডেটাটা কেন ইম্পর্টেন্ট সেটা নিয়ে একটু ডিসকাস করা যাক। One important factor about journalism is this particular fact. Second, I have discussed this earlier as well, but can you see this on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We assume in journalism, and please, do ask me if you think that I'm saying something which is not justifiable. Journalism makes the claim that it has the techniques or it has the tools to measure social reality. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Journalism has the tools, or journalism makes this claim that it has tools, or whatever it is saying is fact. So journalism does this knowingly or unknowingly. We make others believe that whatever we are saying is true. And how do we establish that? We establish that through the way we write our stories. We write our stories in a manner, or we write journalism stories in a manner in which people regard it as believable. And there are reasons for that. First of all, it is presented in a manner in which we can co-experience, or something that we can identify with. এমন ভাবে story লেখা হয় যাতে we can identify with many of those things in those stories. So that is known as the narrative form of journalism. That is known as narrative journalism in certain ways. Because when we say a man, aged so and so, he met with an accident or so on and so forth, we are portraying it in a manner in which people find it acceptable. And we also use all the techniques which are used in fiction. That includes trying to make you identify with the protagonist. যে কোনো কাহিনী আমরা কোনটা বেশি মনে রাখি, বা কোনো স্টোরি বা কোনো গল্প কোনটা আমরা বেশি মনে রাখি? Which are the ones? Is there anyone who doesn't understand Bengali? Then I'll not kind of
I don't
shift to
understand.
Bengali.
Yeah, I
You
don't
do?
understand.
Okay. You don't understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to suggest is that what are the kind of stories that we remember? Can you just help me with that? Which are the kind of stories that we remember?
For me, it's visual storytelling. In that case, it helps me to remember things because we can picturize and we can understand that what is happening. So visual storytelling for me is something which I can remember.
Wonderful, Polomi. Thank you. Anyone else?
স্যার ইম্প্যাক্টফুল স্টোরিও তো হতে পারে না, এমন একটা কিছু যেটা আমাদের মধ্যে এমন ভাবে ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলেছে যেটা আমাদের মানে মনে রাখাটা সহজ আমাদের, বা মনে থাকবে, সেই রকম কিছু স্টোরি।
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anyone else? We will talk about storytelling maybe in many other formats. Basically, what is a story? That somebody, either some person or some institution or maybe some entity is in a problem, and that entity tries to overcome that problem and probably succeeds or does not succeed. ঠিক মোটামুটি এইভাবে বলা যায় তো স্টোরি একটা।
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
মানে আমি জাস্ট রিপিটিং দ্যাট ইন বেঙ্গলি, কোনো না কোনো একটা সমস্যা বা কোনো একটা আমাদের বাধা আছে যেটাকে আমরা অতিক্রম করছি, বা একজন প্রোটাগনিস্ট, সেটা ইট ক্যান বি আ হিউম্যান বিং, ইট ক্যান বি মেনি আদার পিপল, ইউ নো, হুএভার আর Saminur, I'm in an online session, I'll get back to you. So this is very, very important that we have certain kind of problems in most stories. এমন স্টোরিও হয়, we know রাষ্ট্রীয় production and so on and so forth, যেখানে problem খুব কম থাকে, but generally stories are about problems. You agree with that simple fact, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Only three, Shakti, Shantika and Shruti, no one else. I can see 70 people on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So we remember those stories with which we can identify with, or the problems in that particular story are my own problems, or the problems are the ones about which I care about. Can I put it like that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those stories which
Yes.
impact me, the ones with which I can identify with. But there, you know, I want my hero, or I want my cause to win, or I want my party to win, or I want my people to win. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the stories are written in that form so that number one, you identify with major themes, or maybe the hero or the heroine or whatever. And number two, you want the hero or the heroine to win. Am I clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
Yes, sir.
we keep on with the story because we want the hero or the heroine or the protagonist or the idea or the company or the group or the nation to win. Right? So that is why when journalism is done in this particular storytelling format, people regard it as believable, people regard it as something which is credible and something that they can identify with. And journalism also is able to do its job of making people accept that whatever we as journalists are saying is true. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So there is no problem with this storytelling format. But it was seen that there is at least one simple problem with that storytelling format. All of you can see that we use the same short story structure. There is a character, there is a problem, there is a resolution. A particular format on journalism use in stories we do that. We point out to problems and we point out how we will overcome those problems, or whoever is fighting to overcome those problems and those kind of things. The only problem with that is that certain times these formats may not be true. I have a kind of zoomed it. Can you see the zoomed thing on your screen, or you can't see it? Can you please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So there is this background story about this journalist whose name is Janet Cook, who in 1980 wrote a piece in the Washington Post about a heroin addict, Jimmy, a 13-year-old heroin addict, Jimmy. Unfortunately, and I'm using this word knowingly, unfortunately, Janet Cook won the Pulitzer Prize. So the problem with the Pulitzer Prize was that everybody wanted to know about Jimmy. What is he doing now? Where is he? What is his condition? And so on and so forth. It soon became obvious that Jimmy did not exist. Can you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Janet Cook had cooked up that story. There is a possibility that some people might not get the evidence that they are looking for in that particular journalistic product. Am I clear with this point? I'm not saying that everyone is doing that, but because these things came out in the open, they started, we had the situation where people had this question mark. You agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand
Yes,
the argument that I'm trying to portray? So because narrative journalism is very important, and we will need to do storytelling, and I will keep on talking about storytelling as I go along. But the problem is that it might be made up as well, or at least the audience, our readers, our viewers, our listeners, they might not get the evidence in the story itself. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you have to tell me whether you understand this part or not. I mean, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Akanksha, or no,
Yes,
Barsha,
sir.
Bhaskar, you people are
Yes,
there?
sir.
Familiar?
Yes.
You guys are there? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So that is where we come to a point where we are suggesting that data is becoming important. That we need to talk about, or we need to provide people with the evidence in the story itself. And it is not only about trying to provide the evidence, it is many other things which I will just suggest in a moment's time. So this became important that we need to give evidence to to our readers in form of data. And that is where this particular branch of journalism, which is known as precision journalism, it became very popular from 1960s and 70s, because people thought that just like social sciences, we must give evidence to people in form of data. What is the evidence we otherwise give in stories? I'm just talking of a general story. जो story लिखते हैं, suppose it's a story about people, so many people are in this ward or that ward or whatever. What is the evidence we provide? The evidence we provide is that of a statement by somebody who is in some kind of a position. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Agree with everyone? Do you agree with this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the evidence we provide is known as the anecdotal evidence. The general evidence that we provide is anecdotal evidence, and we are suggesting that this anecdotal evidence may not always be correct. So what do? We have to provide them with data evidence. We have to provide them with hard evidence, which is verifiable, which they can themselves verify and find out whether that is true or what is the meaning of that particular thing. Because in journalism, it's no longer just the information, but the meaning of the news that becomes more important. And what do we understand by meaning of the news? By providing a context, by providing a background, and by providing the significance of the news information itself. So what are the three things that I'm trying to tell you about? The background, the significance, and the context, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that is why we require, we require data as a very important input in our stories. And we will tell you where to find data, how to use it, and so on and so forth. But do you agree? Have I been able to convince you that data is a very important requirement for stories, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everyone, is there anyone who doubts that this data might not be important? Anyone? So you agree with the fact that data is important. And this is again there on the screen, that there is tremendous amount of digital data there in the ecosystem. So many zettabytes. Zettabyte means 1 trillion gigabytes. 1 trillion means 1 lakh crore. So there are about almost 46, 47 lakh crore gigabytes of data in the planet. So we have huge amount of data which is available there. And we have to just know how to make use of it. So we have moved on from a situation where information was scarce. Can you recall maybe journalists? I mean, you might not have seen journalists of those ages, but if you just recall some films or some movies or some information from maybe 20, 30 years back, what was the ideal journalist? Who was the ideal journalist? Somebody who knew how to get information from all the unknown places. Isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
the job of the journalist was just to find out that information is scarce. We don't know where to get information from. So a powerful journalist is one who knows how to get information from unknown places. But now times and things have changed, and now we have the situation where there is immense amount of data available for all of us, and we must know how to make use of that particular data, and that is what we are going to talk about today. Is that part clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So our job is to, I'm just zooming this up, zooming the screen up once again. Is that visible on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When
Yes, sir.
information was scarce, most of our efforts were devoted to hunting and gathering information. Now information is abundant, processing is more important. We must know how to process that information. And most importantly, we must bring structure to the data. As I said, and as I keep on repeating, the meaning of the news is important. More than the news itself, the meaning of the news is more important. So we have to bring in sense to the people, that what does it mean? Because human mind cannot take in so much of complexity. Our job as journalists or communicators is to give that some kind of a structure. So that is why this becomes so very important, and that is why we must know, number one, where to get the data from. Number two, how to get stories from there. And number three, how to present those stories. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The first part is how to access information. The second part is how to analyze that information. And the third part is how to present that information. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So this is what we are going to tell you. Can anyone help me with suggesting how can we access information? Anyone? How can we access information? Where do we get data from? Any idea? Where do we get data from? Any idea? No idea?
So যে কোনো একটা কিছু সেটাই তো ইনফরমেশন।
No, we are talking about yes, but we are talking about structured data. You are correct in a way, Anisha, because every information is data in certain ways. But I'm talking about structured information, information in tables, information in rows and columns. Karan, we are suggesting that there are lots and lots of data sets out there in the open, and we have to find out where that data is, and we'll have to use that information to create stories from there. So the first job is, where do we access data from? And like everything else, Google will help us access some of that data. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but it sounds so easy. It might not be very easy, because Google again is a huge repository, and we need to find out where those information where that particular information is. But before I begin, I just want to emphasize this point, and then again I'll talk about and I'll share 60 data sets which I have compiled on our website, and I will show you how you can draw stories out of there, and how you can how you can use that to create story ideas. Number one, data itself can be the source of news stories. How many of you heard about the National Family Health Survey, NFHS? Has anyone heard of the National Family Health Survey? Yes or no? You've either heard about it or you haven't. How many of you heard about the census of India? Am I audible? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Sir, repeat করবেন লাস্টেরটা।
How many of you heard about the census of India?
স্যার শুনেছি।
শুনেছি স্যার।
Census শুনেছো? So whenever that wonderful. So whenever that census reports come out, that itself is data. That itself is the story. That India's population is this, and you know there are so many unemployed, this and so on and so forth. Whenever the budget is presented, the budget itself is the data. That itself is the story. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whenever
Yes,
we
sir.
whenever we have any kind of a survey, whenever we have any kind of numbers coming, you know, you remember we had those COVID data coming out. So that number itself was the story. So there are many places, or in many places, the data itself will be the story. Either straight away that this data has come out, or whatever that particular data is telling us. That 20% of people of India have been, you know, taken out from poverty. So these are plain numbers. But as we can understand, just plain numbers might be intimidating to a lot of people. If I just use plain numbers and statistics, etc., people might not want to read it. And that is a challenge for us as a communicator. If I'm trying to say something, and before I start saying that particular thing, you think that that is going to be boring, and you think that that is not going to be for me, you are not going to read it. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chakki and Ahana and Shruti. But others, please let me hear your wonderful voice. Just don't keep hiding behind a mobile phone. There are others as well. Please try and participate. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I can see on my screen whoever is responding. So thank you, Samaita and Pew and others. So one is data can be the source of the news story. Second, it can be the tool with which the story is told. Thirdly, we can use it as an evidence in the news story. So we will try and discuss these kind of things. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
I will discuss
Yes,
about
sir.
the,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I will
sir.
thank
Yes,
you. Thank
sir.
you so much. So I will discuss about the story types as well. Can someone just search for this first one, Google Public Data Explorer? Is anyone being, you know, just open your mobile and try and search for Google Public Data Explorer. Is anyone doing that?
Yes, sir.
Tiyasha, can you share your screen? I mean, share kora jabe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm stopping presenting and I'm asking Tiyasha to present your screen to show what you are seeing in your Google Public Data Explorer. Is anyone else trying that? Okay, so as you can see, you can get lots and lots. If you just scroll down, so you get a lot of these. You know, you get world development indicators. You get International Monetary Fund. You get WTO. You can search for a lot of these public data. A lot of this data is public. It is there out in the open, and we can search from there. But as you can understand, there are too many questions that we need to ask from data. But first of all, I must know where will I get the data from. Is that question clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Tiyasha, you can stop sharing this. I have been doing this for quite some time, and I have regular classes on data journalism with students all over the country. What I did was that I compiled 60 of these important data sets onto my website. So I have tried to make your work a lot easier by providing all these important data sets at one place. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let me just share that with you, and that is something that maybe at some point of time you will find how important that has been, and you will find out how much of hard work has gone inside that particular thing. So I will just put that on your chat box, and you might try and access that. It can be accessed on a mobile phone as well. Can one of you access that? Does that link work?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
dear. Is there anyone who would want to share the screen and to show what it is? I will just very quickly scroll that and show it to you. But just I want one of you to show, just to suggest that, this data set is there. I have tried to create that for data journalism students so that you have that at one place. But there are many, many other ways of accessing data that we'll keep on learning. So who will share the screen? Piasha has already done that. Who is going to share the screen now? I don't want to ask Piasha once again. Is there no one who will who's going to
Sir,
share?
I can share. I can share the screen.
Yes, sir. Shantika, please go ahead. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So there is a database on Indian economy, as you can see. So that is from my website, and that's the link. So if you just scroll down, there is the Mahatma Gandhi Enriga, there is the water resources information, there is that open government data, and all these are clickable links. If you click onto any of those blue lines, it will click. Can you click onto datagov.in.link, Shantika? The blue one, yes. So all those links are clickable links, and it will open up into, you can just, yeah. So these are, all those things where you can get information in a structured format. Thank you. You can go back to the screen if you can. So just to suggest that, many of those, yeah. So you can just come down and open budgets India. So it tries and makes that budget very simple for you, because budget documents can be, and you can, play around with that at a later time. So this UN Comtrade is that United Nations trade database. Then this is a Justice Hub. This is a platform on data on the Indian legal system. Just pause for a moment. Missing women and children. This is from the National Crime Record Bureau of India. So if you are doing on women and children and you want to find out data, tomorrow Monidipati will talk a lot about stories, and she will tell you that data is so important to support your statement, because you would need to bring in, which Professor Mrinal Chatterjee was also telling you yesterday, that you go on from one particular person's story and then you bring in the bigger picture, and for that you need data like that. So I have got that from the National Crime Records Bureau. That is one very important data set. Agricultural prices, these are regular. So yeah, please go. Rural health statistics. So this is by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It tells you, about the rural health. Please, scroll down. Indian Human Development Survey. There is the Health Management Information System. There is this disease surveillance. So if you're doing a story on health, you can get it there as well. Others, can you see that? I mean, it's your own friend who's showing it to you. Can anyone confirm whether you can see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so that link is with there is there for you as well. Please come down. Yeah, the Poshan tracker is a it's about nutrition. So the tuberculosis, if you're doing, I mean, it's as specific as that. This is about medical certification of cause of death. So if you're doing on certain things, you can talk about. This is a national achievement survey. So there is this vaccination. So what are the things on which vaccination? UDC, I mean, this is like on school infrastructure, teachers, and so on and so forth. Zero tracker, Pratham. This is a fabulous, I mean, yeah, you can just pause here for a moment. Pratham Acer, this is a fabulous data set about, say, for example, whether, you go to a class 5 student and you give him certain things to read or write. So this is a very, very interesting report. And if you see, wonderful, I mean, journalists find this as a very, very useful data set. You might have found very interesting stories. That a class 5 student, these many percentage, they can't even read or write or things like that. So that is a kind of a measurable indicator for your school system. Can you understand what I'm trying to tell you? বোঝা যাচ্ছে
Yes,
কি বলছি?
sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. The other one is about students going abroad. As you can see that this has been created for these purposes, including the icons. As you can see that Shrug is again very important data. This is for development data about poverty and so on and so forth. COVID-19, it will be there for a long time. CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, RBI annual report, Manrega employment, India's exports and imports. Yeah, you can just keep on scrolling. Indian states, income tax, vehicle registration, petrol pumps in India, bureaucrats of India. So that is about IAS, IPS, and this election data set is again very useful. If you want to find out about if you're doing some election stories or whatever, then this election statistics. And yeah, please come down. NCR with this crime in India is again a very important thing. So the latest one we have is this 2020. So that's where it is here. Constituency wise, this has been prepared by Harvard Center for Population and Development Studies. Then census report. Which one was the last census? Act second, hold on. Which one was the last census?
2011.
2011. The next one was due in 2021, but because we had this COVID, it hasn't been done. So that one is due. Yeah, please come down. The Mango database. So you have interesting soft stories as well. Livestock census. This is about, just like the human census, this is about the census of animals. The food grain bulletin. This is about the food, milk product, air quality. Please come down. The electricity consumption. Then this one, I did a story on that on my website itself. It's about the world, which are the places where there are lots and lots of these conflicts. Then these coal mines. Yeah, please come down. Global protest tracker, suitability of Ganga water, World Bank, aging study. So that's about cricket. So there's something on cricket as well. Highways, Indian movie database. So there, if you click onto that, you will get the database of all movies from 1950 to 2019. So that's the latest one we have. Then we have this telecom subscription and judicial and so on and so forth. So I don't want to get into the whole of it. Yes, thank you so much, Shantika. So these are 60 data sets which are available to you at one particular place. Please keep it with yourself. You will find that very useful later on. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because instead of you searching for these data sets, I have created some important ones. Of course, you will need to search for your own because it depends on the story you're doing. But I thought that this is one comprehensive data set that we students can begin with. And the National Family Health Survey is a very important set there. And you can, have a look at those things maybe later on because it's important for you to keep updated with that kind of a thing. So am I clear with this particular part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you have shown the mobile view. I will show you the
Yes,
desktop
sir.
view. I will show you the desktop view as well, and probably you'll find that is a little bit more colorful. So this is how it appears on the desktop. And you just need to click onto those links and it will just take you to, can you see this? These are clickable links. Can you see that on your screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And believe me, these are very comprehensive data sets. Now the obvious questions, what do we do with this data? Isn't it? Shouldn't you be asking me this?
Yes, sir.
So why are you not asking? Anyway, thank you so much. But you're right that you must, and you must ask whatever question that you feel like. I mean, as teachers, we invite questions all the time. So you think that we must be having some way of making use of that particular data, otherwise it is useless. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir. Sir, if you don't mind, I would like to ask one question.
Yes. If you don't ask, then I will mind. If you ask questions, I will not mind.
Yeah, actually, may I know how to know the authenticity of the data you provide?
I will come to that part as well. That is a question that will be solved today. I will talk about that.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much for the question. That is a very important question. Anyone else? Is there anyone else with any question? So first, I will talk about, okay, let's solve this. How do we know about the authenticity of the data? Before I talk to you about what are the kind of stories that we can create out of that data. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why are
Yes,
you?
sir.
Why is everyone so sleepy
Yes,
at
sir.
7:47 in the afternoon, evening? You're there, everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. So if we listen to these bright voices, we think that, okay, there are people listening and let's provide something even better. So that's why it's important that you keep responding. Thank you, Shobik. I can see your yes, sir in capital letters. So that means an emphatic yes, sir. Thank you very much. So let me answer Shubhyan's question about how do I know that data? And we must, in fact, before we get going, we must have the same kind of questions that we ask about. I mean, we must be as cynical about the data itself as we are with any human source. So if any human being comes to you with a story as a journalist, don't you think that you will be asking him some very, very important questions? Am I clear? Somebody
Yes,
calls you up. Somebody calls you up on your mobile phone and he says that I am the bank manager of so and so bank, and we are trying to test whether your OTP works. So please tell me your OTP. Are you going to tell him the OTP straight away?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Of
No,
course
sir.
not. Of course not. Yes, you will give him a piece of your mind and you will say that, Mr. Bank Manager, we have dealt with many, many frauds like you. So thank you very much. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly,
Yes, sir.
if a person says that, I can do magic and I can do this and please keep my story on your front page and all, are you going to take him at face value? If anyone comes
No,
with
sir.
a story, you are
No,
going to
sir.
verify that. You're going to grill him. You're going to ask him some very, very important questions. Aren't you going to do that? It is about everything. Even if a police source tells you something, you're going to ask the police source certain very important questions that because you need to verify that. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
True.
sir. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Exactly that way, whenever we get any data, we must be very, very clear about where we are getting that data from, whether that is reliable or not, whether we can use that in the story or not, because anybody and everybody can create a website and can add data onto the internet.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
এটা তো সম্ভব, ডেটাটা ফ্রডুলেন্ট ভাবে আপলোড করা যায়, এটা তো সম্ভব তো?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, sir.
So we must be asking some important questions from the data itself. So what are those questions? Let me just very quickly ask those questions from the data. And these are some very important questions that we will ask of the data. This particular process is known as data biography, that we will, who collected the data? Who is the person who's collecting the data? Is it a tobacco company? So if data has been collected by a tobacco company which tries to tell you that smoking is not that bad, are you going to believe it?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Of course not. So we as journalists will have to find out, first of all, who collected that data. Secondly, we also have to find out who owns that data, because that again is very, very important, that who is the owner of that particular data, what purpose it was brought for. How was the data collected? Very, very important. I'm sure there are many semester 4 students and you have had research classes and you have the idea about how you ask questions and so on and so forth. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
How was the data collected? Did we go and ask them? Because again, there are so many things possible. Or did I just send them an email and they responded, and so on and so forth. So how was the data collected is again very important. We have to ask. And that's why all the data sets that I have just shown you, these are government data sets. They are accountable. If something goes wrong, they will be held responsible for that. So how was data collected is very important. What about this? What does this mean? Yes, what does sample size mean? What is the importance of sample size?
The number of
If
people
there
we
is a
are
small...
serving.
Yes, Camelia, thank you. Yes, please go ahead.
I said the number of people we are serving are the sample size.
So if the data is based on a very small sample size, then it probably will not be generalizable. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, that is a question that we ask of the data, that if these are from sample, who was excluded or who was included in the sample? If I'm just having a telephone survey, or if I'm just having a Twitter poll, will that be representative?
No, sir.
If I just have a Twitter poll, will that be representative of the entire population? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Because only those people who have access to internet and those people who can access Twitter, they can only be included. So that
We
is not
should
a
always
representative sample.
have
If somebody,
particular target audience, and accordingly we should do the survey so that we can get the perfect survey answers.
it is not only about survey, it is about whenever I'm having any kind of a data set. And if from the data set I know that this is based on this kind of a survey, then I can safely say this is not representative. This might not be true. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Polomi and Shantika. Thank you. When was the data collected? If it was collected 10 years back, it can't be about this because it does not have the COVID response. When was the data updated? Why was it collected? Does it reflect the real world objects? Does it reflect reality? Reality is something else, data says something else. Reality is that, for example, I see that the school bus comes 10-15 minutes late every day. But the data suggests that it is on time. Reality suggests that the flight is never on time, but their data suggests that it is always on time. So we will question that data. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we will put
Yes,
that
sir.
data to these very questions before we access or before we realize that that data is useful or not useful. Am I clear about that? So there are many.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes,
there
sir.
are many points about that, and these are the questions that we have to ask from the data before we try and do stories out of it. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me first of all just show you very quickly some one or two skills, and then I will go on to the story. So just give me 1 minute before I try and show you something on a skill kind of a thing. So I'm sure all of you have taken that particular just give me a moment. Just let me open a Google Drive and let me show you. Yeah. If you have that particular laptop on your thing, you can do that. Otherwise, I can show it to you on a screen. So I'm not. I'm just starting off with a very simple thing just to show you. Probably this is not always a good data set to begin with. Screen দেখা যাচ্ছে এটা?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you see that on screen? You can, right? I want to get that onto a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet means either Google, Google Sheet or onto Microsoft Excel. If I try and copy paste it, you know what problems there can be, isn't it? Can you see that on the screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to get it onto a Google spreadsheet. For that, I'm just trying to show you. The reason is because this is going to show us how to get data set onto a place where I can do some exercise out of it. Exercise means I can do some stories out of it. Can you see this particular part on your screen? The screen দেখা যাচ্ছে, this one, the Google Sheet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so just to show you very quickly, what I'll do is I'll just try and zoom it. So there is this option. This is known as import HTML. I just give that command is equal to import HTML, and I put in the URL. URL means the one that I just showed you, the website. And then I just write table, and then I write 4 because that's the 4th table. I get the entire thing onto my Google Sheet here. Can you see this here? What is it that you're getting here? You're getting this particular table onto a spreadsheet here. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'll share with you on your chat box also. If anyone is working
Yes,
along,
sir.
you can just kind of work with yourself. Just open a Google spreadsheet and just paste it on the first part of your Google spreadsheet, the first column. You can do it on the mobile also, I guess. I will show you one more thing. Anyone, whoever is on a mobile or whatever, is equal to import HTML, this URL, and then colons a table, and then 4. If you do that, you can get the entire thing onto Google spreadsheet. Is anyone trying that? Is anybody trying this? Or do you think that we should be doing this? I just wanted to show you some option that, this is how we get tables onto Excel, and this is how we will look for stories there. So just, is anyone trying that? Yes or no? Nobody? If you're not trying that, I will do something else. Just respond, please. I'll show you another thing very quickly. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see this here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is population of the states. What is the population percentage, so on and so forth. I want to have this on a Google spreadsheet. One way by which I can do that is by just copying and pasting, and I know that might not work. So what I'm trying to show you is a shortcut. And what is that shortcut? Getting that particular table onto a spreadsheet like this. Why do I want to get on a spreadsheet like this? Because I can do those simple commands and try and get some story out of it. Is this clear what I'm trying to do?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Either it's clear or it's not clear, just tell me, because as I said, I'm trying to show you very many things at the same time. So I'll just show you 2 or 3 more things before the next speaker comes. So what I'm trying to show you is that kind of a data is there on a website. From that website, how will I get onto a Google spreadsheet? Why do I want to get it onto a Google spreadsheet? Because I want to get some information out of that. I'm trying to put it very, very simple that, this is there on a spreadsheet. From there, I will try to find out what is the highest, what is the lowest, and so on and so forth. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why are you so
Yes,
sad?
sir.
Why do you sound so sad? What is there to be sad about? Yes or no? I don't know. Let me zoom it. I did the same thing here. Can you see this here? Screen দেখতে পাচ্ছ এটা is equal to import HTML.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is a very, this is not computer coding. I'm not trying to show you coding or something. What I'm showing you is a very, very simple trick or a very simple command to get numerical data onto a spreadsheet, because from the spreadsheet we'll try and create stories. How do we create stories? I will just show you. I'll just try and demonstrate you. So do you understand what this data is about? This is about the various states and the population of that particular state. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes, sir.
And how did I get it? Just by giving a particular computer command to it. And what is that command? It's called is equal to import HTML. Where do I paste it? I paste this entire thing onto the first cell, and that's how I get it. Let me show it to you from scratch very quickly, and then we will try and get story ideas from there. This is the command. What is the command? Is equal to import HTML, so on and so forth. This is a blank sheet. Isn't it a blank sheet?
Yes, sir.
I just put that thing over here. Sorry. Can't be copied and pasted. Can you see this here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I put that command. What is that command? Is equal to import HTML data. This is what I get here. This is the entire state. There are 1,000 of things I can do there on this particular thing. Just by filtering, I can just have from the highest to lowest, or I can have more than the average, less than the average. There are hundreds of things that I can do on Microsoft Excel. This is not about mathematics. This is about knowing certain commands and then creating stories out of that, or getting story ideas out of that. we do not have time to demonstrate all that, but I was just trying to show you that there are lots of things we can do as data journalists. Everybody might not require that, but we must at least know what questions to ask, so you can take the help of someone who is good with Microsoft Excel or those kind of things. Am I clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So now I'm going to talk about what are the kind of story ideas that I can get from those kind of data. As I said, the data is used as an evidence. I use it as an evidence because our kache story ache. I've spoken to people. I know that they will talk about that, and I need some kind of a evidence to support my views. So this is what I do. So these are the kind of stories. Can someone just read it out? What is there on the screen? Anyone?
Full picture,
Yes.
then percentage or proportion, then the internal comparison, then external comparison, then change with time, then lead tables, then analysis by categories, then association.
What about this? Can you see the next slide on the screen? No.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So which is the first one? Top of the pops or top of the flops. Tarmane, if I have a data set, from there I can do stories about which are the best performing districts, or which are the best performing people, or which are the best performing countries, or which are the best performing or the worst performing. Am I clear about this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I can do stories about best performing, worst performing. I can do stories about, certain things, about trends. Something was up, it has gone down. Something was down, it has gone up. Something was in an atrocious state, it has, got much bigger. Maternal mortality rate was this way, it has come to this place. Child mortality was at this place, it has come to this place. Compared to this particular district, we are doing this. But as I keep on telling you, and as I will keep on emphasizing, that data is just a source, it's an evidence. When I write those data stories, I will have to use the same kind of narrative structure that we began with. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first of all, where do we get data from? So where do we get data from? Data কোথা থেকে পাবো? Who answer?
Government websites.
I have already created a data set list for you. So that is one place. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then we ask some very important questions from those data sets, because we are not going to take those data sets in whatever form they are. And then we must know what kind of analysis I can do on that data, and I can get some story ideas out of that, or I can get a true picture out of that, or I can see that certain people are doing bad, certain people are doing good. I can, as I showed you on the last slide, that we can see that there is this change. It has gone up, or maybe certain things have gone down, and so on and so forth. So we can do many kind of stories there, but very important to not just put stories in numbers. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Because if we just have numbers, then it might become, it might seem very odd to people, and they might not want to make too much of sense about it, or they might not even read it, because I have to make that interesting. And how do I make interesting? One of the ways in which I can make that interesting is by personalizing it, by trying to bring in a person who represents that story and trying to speak him and trying to show him as that particular story structure I was telling you, that this was the problem and this is how he surmounted it, this is how he wants to surmount that. And in that story, I give the big picture which the data is providing me. Am I clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. The last thing, I just have 2 minutes left. So the last thing I want to show you is, how to, go for data visualization. And that again is a very, very simple, there are lots of, ways in which we can very simply represent this visually. And one of the very simple ways is one I am showing you on the screen. As I said, our job is to provide you with a snapshot of what are the things that you can do. So one of these is, please confirm whether you can see that on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Can you see this particular thing on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is there, and these are all, kind of interactive things that we can create. Can you see this? I mean, this tells me that Pune has 19 districts and Amravati has 2 and Jaipur has 34 and North 24 Parganas has 9. And so I can create that information in a visual format that people might find interesting. Otherwise, if I just put in, plain statistics, people might not find that very interesting. So this is a site which is known as Data Wrapper. I'm just putting it out on the screen, and it is there on the website that I shared with you. So there are many, many things that we can do with data. I spoke of how to access data. I also spoke about how is, how to find out whether that data is reliable or not, and then how to analyze that data. I also demonstrated how to get a data from a website onto your spreadsheet. And then we must know how to present that data as well. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do
So
you have,
last shared, but it's not open.
Yes, sir.
which one?
Last, just before you shared something. no?
The data wrapper thing?
Yeah, it's not opening.
I have closed that because I'm trying to, I'll have to wrap it up. Our next speaker is there, and we have to go on to the fact checking part right now.
But could you please share the link at least?
It is,
Link
there, it is there on the website that I had showed you right at the beginning. It is there on the website.
Okay.
Am I clear? Let me show you that website. There is that. There on the screen. I've shared that with you, right? These are the data visualizations. You can just click onto that and it will take you to those type of things. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we ever get time, so is that link working? What's the name? Sudhyan.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
It's working. Okay, okay. Do tell me whether it's working or not. Otherwise, I'll have to wait for you. So this is where I'll have to end. Am I clear about all the too many things that I wanted to talk to you? But the idea is just to, get you thinking about these things, because in one class probably it might not be possible for you to grasp all the very many things that we are trying to put in there. And that's the challenge that all of us face, in webinars like this, because we just have 1 hour to explain things which would normally take many, many hours.